Fuck, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, well, whatever. This that episode of Fresh Prince when Will got shot. Make Carlton load the clip, about to make a body drop. Will told him to chill, fam, that's not how you rock. You can handle a book, but you can't handle a Glock. In short, I ain't a killer, but don't push me. I'm not a street nigga, bro, but I ain't no pussy. Because of how I sound, niggas think it's cool to took me. I'm sorry, I meant test me. I'm coming for your neck, G, especially verbally, of course. Kill 'em on the 16 bars, no remorse. It's mind games and I'm playing with the force. White Russian man, oh Jeff Bridges passed the torch. I'm killing shit for sport. I'm eating on my game. You can't have remains. You call me a lame to try to slide in my lane. It's insane what some fame can't do to your brain. Can't maintain all the pain, so you shooting off range. Been body. Stripes like a tiger, worth the woods and Joe Exotic. Manifest my dreams, I'm a motherfucking prophet. Brady under pressure, but I'm chilling in the pocket. A giant to these hobbits, don't feed my ego. Love for all my people, lighting up that fire green, smoking on that Shigo. Light it up, then we go on to another dimension. I'm on to ascension. Did I get your attention? What you got in that kitchen? Shit, more of the same. Give you a handful of pennies just to show you some change. If you do shit the same, you gon' end up the same. Then you look in the mirror like, who can I blame? But you thought you could hang, can't maintain all the pain. When the world falls apart, had to grab to remain. Sunshine after rain, and the sun leave a spark. And when that sun leave a spark, that's when I create art. So all that stick to pot and shit, dawg, you can dead it. All that green balloon shit, dawg, I done said it. Came out the womb, beer in hand, my genetics. I don't smoke crack, motherfucker, I sell it. It's a new day, I'm on a new way. Spitting that holy water, call me Mano Boucher. Namaste to enlighten, hotep to the woke. This the realest shit I ever wrote. This that white Russian energy. Fuck negativity. Peace to my enemies. Time's the only limit, G. This that white Russian energy. White Russian energy. Fuck negativity. Fuck negativity. Peace to my enemies. Peace to my enemies. Time's the only limit, G. Ah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Beats, Brews, and Points of View podcast. I'm your host, Neil Richter, along with my partner in podcasting across from me, E-Man Bates.
The PIP. That is me. And we are in Plymouth Rock for episode 100, baby.
Yep, so we brought you guys a live performance from E-Man, and then we have another one later on planned for you from our special guest this evening, which is Denae in the studio.
Hey.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, especially on the 100th. That's crazy.
I know, it's so awesome. I can't believe we made it to fucking 100 episodes, bro.
I know, we coming from the basement and another basement in the studio. Yeah. Now we're at the top right now.
We started in I used to have a house in Westland, and we started recording in my basement, just on my couch down there. I think we had one mic between the two of us. That, it was like a really shitty fucking Amazon microphone, and we would have guests down there. So it'd be like 3 or 4 people on one microphone, man. It probably sounded like so much.
I actually went back and listened.
Have you?
Because I wanted to listen. I wanted to hear what the first beer we had was. Because I was gonna bring that back, but then I found out what it was, and they changed. I'm not gonna say the company, but they changed the recipe, and it tastes like shit now. But you know what? It didn't sound awful. It doesn't sound like it does now, obviously, but it didn't sound awful.
It didn't sound awful.
Yeah, no, it
That's
didn't
good.
sound that bad. Actually, you can follow us on all your streaming services. Our episodes on there.
Yeah.
So,
That was a good idea, though, to bring the beer back. That would have been cool.
Right.
Yeah. What was it? Was it like a? You don't have to say the company. What kind of beer was it? Do you remember?
It was a ale with
Blood Orange.
Blood Orange Ale?
Yes.
Oh, I think I remember that.
You know which one it is.
The can,
I feel like I just gave it away by saying that because there's
Well,
there's a handful of companies that do that to like the mass quantity.
Right. So. And I think we want 100 episodes only like repeating like once or twice and maybe having like wine or something a couple times.
I almost got that Sam. I was like should I ball out and get that Sam Adams Utopus? It's not a Michigan beer, but it's like have you any of you heard of that? Sam Adams Utopia? All right. So what it is, Sam Adams created a beer that's about. I'd say it's about, I want to say it is how many? It's like maybe like a fifth, like the size of a fifth, but it's 28% ABV.
Oh my gosh.
And it's banned in like 14 states.
That's ridiculous.
That's
Michigan's
crazy.
not one of them.
That's too much.
Yeah. Oh no, it's ridiculous. I had it last year actually when I worked for a distributor, and not last year, 2 years ago. And to be honest with you, it's not good.
I was gonna say
it doesn't seem like it would
be way too much alcohol.
There is no point whatsoever to have a 28% beer. Like that's just a rich people flex to have some shit like that.
Right.
Does it come in like a mini snifter, like a shot glass?
It kind of low key. It kind of looks like a upside down pimp cup.
Okay,
it
yeah.
It kind of looks like a chalice. I'll pull it up real quick.
Speaking of which, we gotta bring that flight thing that you got made.
The beats and
start bringing that to the pod.
Damn, I wish I knew the name of that company. I was at a beer fest in Indiana, and we ran into one of these. We ran into this booth, and this guy was doing like woodwork and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, I want a flight board so bad. So I had him engrave Beats, Brews, and Points of View on a flight board. He actually gave me the glasses too. So I'm like.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, we got to bring that. Start using that for when we sample the beer.
Shout out to Lindsay in the background, like, Indiana native. So,
not to spoil it, but I actually brought you something that would go with that.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like gifts.
For your 100th episode.
Stickers and a gift? This is
rolling
crazy.
in with gifts,
You know
man.
what I'm saying, man?
Well, yeah, I got a little stoned.
It happens.
Yeah. But it's a huge accomplishment.
You know what we should have brought in?
It feels good.
We should have got strolls.
We got what?
We should have got strolls for the 100th episode.
But anyways, normally we wait a little bit and we do the interview and then we get into the beer. But I feel like cheers into this 100th episode, so I think let's get into the beer first. Actually, I should say
have a beer.
The wine.
That's right. We're classy brots today, guys.
In mini solo cups.
Yeah, in mini solo cups.
I'm gonna say, can't be too classy. All right. So for Detroit Vineyards, we have a sweet red that is made in Detroit. I'm gonna read off this French, a lot of French going on here in this description. Sorry if I botched the name. This guy's been dead probably for 100 years, so it doesn't matter. So, Anton de la Mothe Cadillac established a vineyard in Detroit in 1702, one of the very first in North America. He delighted in grapes that he found here and described them as raisin de vin. I just knew it was coming, man. I'm like, I don't know
so
French.
glad you
Is
guys
that why
didn't
you
have
asked me to read the description?
Eventuellement de bon je qui fera un vin excellent.
Great.
Good A
job.
for effort, buddy.
And that was a quote, by the way.
And he hasn't even drank the wine yet.
At Detroit, I'm like, am I having a stroke while reading this? I'm like, having a stroke. At Detroit Vineyards, we use classic French vineyard practices in unison with modern-day winemaking techniques to produce wine, combining the best of what the old and new world has to offer. Made from a carefully crafted blend of Clamborance, Maréchal Foch, oh goddamn, and Chancellor Noir grapes grown near the shore of Lake Michigan. Our sweet red features the aromas and flavors of black cherry and currant. Yeah, try to read that shit.
That is hilarious. I applaud you for trying, sir.
Ooh, boy.
Thank you so much for not asking me to read that.
Damn, I almost had an aneurysm.
Yeah. Well, now you know if you bring in wine, practice beforehand.
Ironically enough, I actually dropped French my freshman year of high school, so
nice.
That might have
We
something to
couldn't
do
tell.
with it. Yeah, right? I thought it was pretty fluent.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Well, anyways, as we do on the podcast, while we're trying out the drink of the week, which is this beautiful wine that we're about to have, we read off some of the birthdays and play some of the music of them. So I wanted to read off that list. It's another long one, as always. Yeah, Nile Rodgers from Chic, his birthday was last week. Jay Electronica, Capadonna from Wu-Tang, Exhibit, No Name, Dougie Fresh, Sci-Hi the Prince, Nas, Swiss Beats, Tom Hardy, and Amy Winehouse. That's
Amy.
a lot of greats. Amy, man.
You saved it for last.
And she would only be 38 still, which is like, it
so
just
sad.
breaks my heart still. I'm like, God damn it. And I'm really sad that we didn't get to go. Denae and I were going to go check out this, shout out to Will from At Will Band that we had on last week. They did like an Amy Winehouse tribute show for her birthday on Friday at Willis Show Bar, but I didn't realize you had to get tickets or reserve a table beforehand on the website, and I guess they had sold it out, so womp womp.
You know,
That sucks.
Amy Winehouse has so much more music in the tuck, man. It's not
Oh,
even
yeah,
funny.
for sure.
Like,
And then, unfortunately, in sad news, we had to say goodbye to Norm Macdonald last week, legendary comedian. He's always been a favorite of mine because me and my best friend Alex used to be obsessed with Dirty Work growing up. That was like our favorite movie to watch. There's so many quotable parts in it. And plus, you have a few other comedy greats that we've lost in there, too. Chris Farley's in it. Don Rickles is in it. And it's actually pretty cool. I was watching this interview where they were talking about the scene with Don Rickles. And they said he had flown in for just one day to film that one scene in the movie theater. And they said they almost couldn't use any of the footage because every fucking take, they said the entire cast would just bust out laughing because he would improv like the whole thing. And they couldn't get their shit together for it. So, yeah, anyways, rest in peace, Norm Macdonald, one of the funniest stand-up comedians of all time. Yeah, we're going to play some
I
of
just
the
love
music.
him. And you ever watch Mike Tyson Mysteries?
Mike Tyson Mysteries. No, what is that?
You never seen Mike Tyson Mysteries?
I haven't
Holy
seen it either.
shit! All right, so Adult Swim, puts out a bunch of weird cartoons as they always do, and Mike
And they're
Tyson
great.
Mysteries, and they are, and
They're
that's
great.
and that's why Adult Swim honestly is one of my favorite animation studios,
Yes.
just because they crank out some of the craziest shit that's like just different. Mike Tyson Mysteries was one of those shows. Norm Macdonald played Pigeon. He actually played like a talking pigeon that was
Oh,
helping to
that's
solve
awesome.
crimes.
That's crazy.
When was this on? Was this older?
No, I think it was. I think it's still currently on TV.
Okay.
Like I want to say 2017 till about now.
Okay. I don't think I've had cable since then, so.
Ah, man.
We haven't had, well, no, I guess we have internet cable at the house.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like no, nobody really has cable, but like as I discussed with Eric last night, we have so many streaming services these days where they quote us about the price. So, yeah.
Oh, I need the aux cord back so I can play
pass
some
in the
music for
aux.
you. Yep. Let me get that bad boy in. Whoa, sorry, everybody. That's how it.
My bad.
What?
Yeah, I was supposed to control it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, well, whatever.
All right, apologies, guys.
Yeah,
Everything's
we're
good.
good. Anyway, so starting off the music, here's a little bit of David Bowie's Last Dance because Nile Rodgers played guitar.
You got to pay for it on Luminary, but
Oh,
the first
okay.
episode's for free, and they actually talk about their experiences hanging out because it's about like people like appreciating people when they're gone, like in the moment and stuff like that, hanging out with them. So they talked about hanging out with Amy Winehouse and hanging out with Robin Williams.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I should have played Cherry Wine because that's Nas and Amy. I forgot that they have the same birthday.
They have the same birthday?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yep.
that's cool.
Yeah, she did that song, Me and Mr. Jones. That's all about Nas. She's like a
Oh.
huge Nas fan.
She was.
so.
Oh yeah, they talked about that too.
Mm-hmm.
They talked about Amy was such a big Nas fan. Like she was like really high. Like at the time, like they were got the first beat. She was like, I am trying to sober up right now because I want to meet Nas. So bad.
yeah. She references hip hop like more than you would think in her music. Like she talks about Slick Rick a couple times. But yeah, I love Amy. She was my favorite. There's never gonna be another one.
There will never
No.
be another Amy.
That's for sure. But anyways, yeah, that wine was super duper sweet. Speaking of cherry wine.
Sweet red, man. Sweet
It's
red
pretty good.
indeed.
I'm usually not like a red wine person, but I actually would drink a whole glass of this.
Yeah, it actually tastes pretty good because normally when I'm drinking wine, it's $3 holler from fucking Aldi. So having a little bit nicer of a wine tastes pretty delicious. You said it's right here in Detroit too, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. Where I wonder where this is at. Let's see. Oh, it's over. Wait, is this in Cadillac? No. Yeah, I don't know.
No,
Oh, there's
see,
a okay.
No,
there's a
you're now you're
vineyard.
reading all the French stuff I bought.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not
it's
even
tough,
gonna,
right?
It's
tough.
For sure. But anyways, without further ado, let's get to talking some music with Denae here.
All right.
So I guess one thing that I always like to ask people is like, what got you into music and making it your own? First off.
Ooh, okay. Well, my sisters and I would always put on music in the living room and we would make dance routines. And I didn't consciously remember this, but looking at old videos and like, home videos, I realized I always had a fake microphone in my hand and I always was singing like completely wrong lyrics. But I was just really touched by it. It really spoke to me. It was the only thing that I really felt like I related to. That was kind of like my emotional outlet. And then another thing that got me into actually like singing was my dad. He's hard of hearing. He's like pretty deaf. And in the car on the way to school, he would drive me to school or daycare, wherever. And he would be blasting like Motown and just like, the Temptations and all these people. And I knew he couldn't hear me. So I would just be singing like so loud in the back. And that became like my daily routine. And I don't know, it just really felt like the only thing that kind of felt like me.
How did you know that you could sing? Because I think we've all like tried it out in the shower and shit. But like, how did you know that like, oh, I've actually got a good voice?
I still don't. I have a unique voice. So I actually didn't sing in front of people. Like my family didn't even know what I sounded like until I was like 23.
Really? That's
because
crazy.
My voice was so unique. Anytime I showed someone, I would get made fun of. Because when you have a unique voice, it doesn't sound good when you're like learning how to sing. So yeah, I was pretty much just like a shower, closet, room, like very private singer. I wasn't in choir. I didn't take lessons. I actually didn't start taking lessons until the last 6 months. So I really just felt it and I really just wanted to be that. And so I just kept doing it and I did it every day. And yeah, I still have my days where I'm like, man, I'm not, I suck.
It definitely is super unique sounding. Like you recognize that like almost immediately. I think we've showed now Nappy and Will on the last 2 podcasts, and within like 10 seconds, they're like, oh yeah, this is tight. Yeah, I'm gonna reach out.
I think my intro to you was, I think I was just finishing up my album, and then I was working with Dilo at that time, and I think Posey was just coming out like around that time too. And then I listened to the whole thing as it came out, and I texted him like, "This is probably the best thing I've ever heard you do, mine including myself."
Oh, that's so cool.
So I want when did you decide to pursue this as like a career path?
Well, I've always wanted to.
Okay.
That was definitely, my. I found a journal recently that it was like a diary from when I was like, I don't know, in 3rd grade or something. And it said like, I want to be a singer and a cheerleader. And I never wanted to be a cheerleader after that. But yeah, I don't know. I've just always, like I said, it's the only thing that's felt like me. I've had such a struggle with like pursuing other things because I've always been told music isn't practical. My family is very much so like, you go to school, you get a real job, you work in an office, you do this, you do that. And so I always really strayed away from it, but I never could fight that urge to like, I want to do this. Like, I need to do this. And even with writing is, that it means so much to me to be able to get my thoughts out in a way that I can understand them. So it kind of just was always in me. And it wasn't something that I ever really decided I wanted to do. It was something that I felt like I was born to do.
I love that.
I love that too.
So when did you decide like the guitar playing too, like to incorporate that into it? Because I know a lot of people like they can play guitar and they can sing, but sometimes people can't do it at the same time.
It's hard, dude. It is hard.
When did you find like get that balance and start working that into the repertoire?
Yeah, so I signed up for a songwriting class in college, probably in 2016. That was my first introduction to being a musician and to singing in front of people. I'd never sang in front of people besides on the playground in like 4th grade. And I didn't know how to play guitar, but I knew it said in like the syllabus, like bring a guitar. And so I was like, oh shit, like I don't know how to play guitar. So I literally just made something up on guitar and I wrote a song to it and I played it in front of the class horribly. And the first thing and I was shaking so bad too. And the first thing the teacher said was, hey, I teach guitar lessons. Like, let's teach you how to play this because that wasn't anything. Like, those weren't even chords. So Spencer, my first mentor, he actually taught me how to play guitar. And I haven't practiced in probably a year. I'm not a guitar player, but I can accompany myself if I need to. Yeah.
I don't know how the really good ones do it. Like maybe like playing rhythm would be easy, or not easy, but like learnable. But like sometimes you see like these 3-piece bands where it's like the lead singer is also playing lead guitar, and you're like, how the fuck do you focus on the both of those? I don't get it.
So it's funny because I have an easier time playing guitar when I'm singing than when I do without singing. And it's
really?
because I keep time. I've always been a singer, so I keep time with like my body and, you know, my mind. And when I'm playing guitar, it's just it's so similar, but it's so different. So like I can't keep time that way. So if I'm singing, I can keep time. And it really depends on the rhythm, though, because if it's like if it's crazy vocals over like a crazy rhythm, that's when it gets really difficult.
Yeah. I'll see like John Mayer playing, and he'll be like in the middle of a guitar solo and singing at the same time. I'm like, I don't even understand.
It's like doing something with your right hand and your left hand.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
it's very difficult until you learn how to do it.
Yeah.
And then it's almost more difficult to do it separately.
It's like rubbing your stomach
Like
and
you
patting
gotta
your head.
almost like train your brain in a way, like get it like the time down and everything like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, that'd be hard. And then you see these other guys. Man, I love people that do multiple things. Like especially watching it live. Like you see a lot of these people like FKJ who does like he'll play like 50 instruments. You know, he just like loops everything, and it's just
Masego
like
is
just so tight.
Crazy.
That's actually how I like FKJ and Masego's Tadao. It's like I was like, this video is crazy.
That's how I found them too. Yeah.
And it's nuts too because like if you asked like an average person who FKJ is, they have no idea, right? But then you go on YouTube and their videos have like 8, 10, 12 million views. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with producers a lot of the time too, and it's unfortunate, but the main vocalist is usually, you know, the lead person that people remember.
Yep.
They remember their voice, they remember, you know, their words and everything. So yeah, shout out to producers. And
we just talked about that last week. Actually, that's like one of our favorite features on Tidal is because I'm super nerdy, so I want to know who
the
produced it,
credits
I
and
want to know
everything,
who
yeah.
played on it and
Yeah.
everything. You know, who wrote it and everything. So I love that they added like the credits button, so you can actually get a
Yes.
view on that. Especially in hip hop, because I have more respect for the producers than the rappers 90% of the time. Like, well, yeah, I guess not 90% of the time, but a lot of the time, like, it matters to me who produced like shit, and like, because they're equally. You know, they put half of the song together too. You know? Like,
Right.
well, and it's such
And
a
the producer.
cool. Oh, sorry. It's such a cool feature to have that option because now I can go and look at who produced the song, find them on Instagram, and then message them and try to work with them.
And it's crazy, man. People are pretty accessible on the internet. Like,
Yeah.
all you gotta do is reach out.
I mean,
Worst
look
thing they do, they don't
at
answer.
Paris,
Right.
Paris and Shinsky.
Yeah, that's
that was
exactly
one,
how
yeah.
that one. Yeah, if you didn't catch the Paris episode, Paris was talking
Deontay
about
Visible.
Like,
Sorry
oh yeah,
for
sorry,
you
yeah.
guys.
Deontay Visible. He was talking about how like he'd been listening to Shinsky's beats forever. Like it was just like a fan, and he was like, one day I just decided to get some guts and ask him if I could work with him, and he was like, he sent a message back to Paris saying that he would pay him. He was like, no way, dude. He's like, no. Let's just work, bro. You don't got to pay me. I'm a fan.
That's so cool. That's the dream. That is like,
I would
yeah.
say like it's more to producers than just making beats. Like you're really like arranging songs. You're trying to figure out like what actually goes into this to make this like perfect. What makes this a hit. So you're doing that. You're actually figuring out like in some of my case, like it's trying to find vocalists or something like that. Or if you're trying to like say like, okay, yeah, this bar doesn't go here. You got to rearrange that. Like figure out like what type of sound goes where. It's just a lot more into it than just making beats.
Yeah.
That's what people don't
It's also,
understand.
directing singers and people who are instrumentalists. And I know for myself, especially at first, I had a really hard time saying like what I wanted the beat to sound like. Like with Posey, I had all those songs written on guitar, and Dilo, he created all of the beats around my guitar and like what I was doing with my vocals. And there were so many times where I like just could not vocalize what I wanted, and it's just you can't read a mind, you know.
Right.
So like to be able to sit there and work through it and figure it out, it takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of time. And yeah, a producer, they do a lot.
That's for sure. You just reminded me of this. I was just watching Drink Champs. Crazy Bone from Bone Thugs was just on Drink Champs, and he was talking about when they got signed. Like he said, they'd been rapping forever, right? But they never had any producers, and they didn't know how to do it.
Was that
themselves.
Ruthless?
Yeah, they were on Eazy-E's label. Yep. But he's like, before Eazy-E picked us up, he's like, we never were in the studio. We never had any beats. So we had just been writing rhymes to no music forever. So like when they finally got us in the studio, we knocked out the album in like a week because they're like, how the hell did you write all this shit so fast? Like we've been written this shit.
You know who
like,
else was like that? Zach De La Rocha from Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, really?
Like he had like books of shit, and then they just kind of like him and Tom Morello and the rest of the band, stuff like that, they kind of like just put it together and like, okay, yeah, this is it.
It's the same for me. I mean, I have all my notebooks still, and there's probably 16 to 20 of the like, the 4-section like school notebooks just filled front to back with songs, and most of those are without any instrumental or anything. And it's crazy because I have songs that I was looking through them recently, and I couldn't do it from memory, but I remember when I was reading certain lyrics, I could sing that whole song still, and I wrote it when I was like 8 years old. It's crazy.
That's what Crazy Bone did too on the episode. He was talking. They were like, because they were asking him, because I guess they got his deal by like, they got Eazy's phone number somehow, and he called them back. And Crazy Bone just grabbed the phone and started rapping. And he still remembered. He was like, he was 18 years old, and I still remember the rap. And he recited it on Drink Champs. I'm like, that's pretty crazy. He's like, I've never performed this song, but I always remembered that because it was like the thing that got us the deal.
What was your first show?
Oh, so I've only played probably including open mics, I think I've only played maybe 10 shows in my life because I never started performing until 2019.
Okay.
That's when I first started making music. And so my very first show was at Unity Vibrations.
Hey, shout out to
Yeah, well, actually, I performed in school for my songwriting class, but I don't know if that counts. So first real show with me, Unity Vibrations, with my friend Denae, really talented artist. And yeah, that's where I kept hitting my face on the mic. I was very nervous. I remember I went to the bathroom like 10 times to just like calm down. And there was this guy that kept being like, I could tell he was judging me, and I wanted to be like, you don't understand. I'm so nervous. Like, I'm not even going to the bathroom. I'm just really just breathing.
Yep.
Can honestly say I've made almost every mistake you can when performing. I fell off stage. I've showed up drunk with shows. Like, I've done every mistake you can possibly make a live performer can do. Like
knock shit over. Shit happens.
I remember circa 2014, I want to say, when Blondie's was a thing on 4th Street, downtown Detroit. It used to be like a really big like club. It shut down now though, but they have like a stage like 4 or 5 feet off the ground. I fell up the stage, like up the stairs, getting on, and I also jumped off stage and ate shit.
Oh no.
That's funny, actually, to call back to Norm Macdonald. I've been kind of inundated with Norm Macdonald material since he passed. I've been just watching a bunch of stuff and interviews and stuff, and he was like, and it's relatable to music too, but he's like, with comedy, eating shit on stage is like such a part of the art form. He's like, it just happens. You're going to do it. It's going to have to do it. And he's like, I like to double down on it. He's like, if I start to bomb, I will ride with that emotion for the rest of the show, and I will purposely tank the rest of my fucking show. And then I'll wait outside and greet every single motherfucker on the way out of the
No, that's
venue.
the way to do it. Honestly, like, it's almost a rite of passage as a performer to straight up eat shit.
Yeah.
Like, you have to. Like, you have to know. You have to really suck to really appreciate when you become good.
Yes.
I feel like. And it's almost,
it's tough, man. I mean, we've had conversations outside of this where I know that you're like nervous about like, and you get stage fright as well, and like
I black out,
and that's not that uncommon. Like, there's a lot of musicians like that's how Avicii developed such bad alcoholism.
Yeah,
because he would drink before every show because he was so fucking terrified to perform.
Yeah,
even though everybody loved him and he knew that, like. And they're all there to see him. You know what I mean? But he was still just like.
In an artist's mind, I feel like you kind of coming with this mentality like you're only as good as like your last performance type deal or your last song or whatever it may be. So you're just one, wrong like switch, or in Avicii's case, one wrong like transition away or stumble away or whatever it may be from just ending the shit off. So,
yeah, and artists like. I mean, you've got obviously a bunch of different kinds, but a good portion of artists are really nervous, like emotional people. Like that's why their art is so good, is they feel things very deeply, but that includes nerves. Like I get sick. I throw up before shows, which is not helpful to my voice at all. It's just, and there's no reason to feel like that. It's just I
think it's the
adrenaline.
And the bigness of like, all these people are staring at me right now as I'm talking. Like, I have no problem. I've always been an outgoing person. It's never been hard for me to talk to people. Public speaking, totally different fucking animal for me. Like, I'd be the guy in class that's just like fucking sitting there the whole time, like, oh my God, I hope she doesn't call me. I hope she doesn't call me. I hope she doesn't call me next. I hope she doesn't call me next. But then, like, I don't know. It's just, you gotta just put yourself out there, I guess.
I know, actually, this year, shout out to Taylor Greenshield. Fun Fest happened this past summer. And I haven't, I'm in the same boat. I haven't played a show in like 2 years almost at this time. And then they did like an open mic thing. And I was like, I'm sitting next to Lindsay at the time. I'm like, I want to get up there. 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 Fuck it, I'm doing it. And then it was like a bunch of people outside, and I just knocked it out. And I'm like, it sounded good, but I'm like, damn, I'm really glad I did that shit. And then there's times where I should have just sat in my seat.
And here's another little helpful tip for when you get big and people start to know your songs. This is another thing Crazy Bone said. He's like, because they're asking him, like, how do you keep up with how fast you rap live? Like, how do you do that live? And he's like, if I fumble over the lyrics, I forget them. I just put the mic in the crowd because they'll remember the shit.
I love it.
So, yeah, that's pretty funny. But anyways, I wanted to also ask you about this Motown accelerator program that you were just part of.
Yes, that was a huge accomplishment. I wanted to win. I didn't win, but I made top 5 out of like 500 or something people. Amazing experience. I got into top 25 last year as well. And, you know, both last year and this year, I really had to face the music of like, I'm still not ready. And it's not, I was kind of devastated a little bit, honestly. I was the only girl to make it to top 5, right? And I really thought that meant that I got it because in the past, they've always done a girl and a guy. That didn't mean anything, but it was an amazing experience. So we did 6 weeks of, you go through the rounds of like, you make top 50, then you make top 25. You're meeting with like songwriters who write for Beyonce and Rihanna and just all these crazy people. Yeah, you do interviews with them, and I had to write a song with a beat they gave me in a day and like record a video to it and like submit it. And they just put you through all these little tests, you know? And so yeah, I made it through all the rounds, made it to top 10. And then once you get to top 10, you get a $500 grant, which I used for a music video. And you get 6 weeks of industry training where we met a couple times a week and we did one-on-ones with the directors. And yeah, you just learn about the industry. You learn about, you know, the business side of things and finances and taxes and all these crazy things. Meet with some people. It was cool because I was meeting with people who I didn't know I already followed on Instagram and already like, you know, like knew who they were. And yeah, it was a really amazing experience. And if I'm allowed to, I think I'm going to try next year.
Yeah, you should. Absolutely. Because if you bumped up from that to top 5 the last year, next time you're going to win this.
I hope so.
I'm about to say, it'll only go up.
Yeah. They did it a little differently this year, too, because normally they pick 4 artists, right? But this year they did it so that they picked 2 artists and they had managers in it as well. So they would pick 2 artists and 2 managers. And we all got paired with a manager. So I have a manager now, which is really cool.
Dope.
And yeah, and then you go through it together.
That's sweet. Man, we should start like a Beats and Brews type of Detroit American Idol. That's like all I wanted to do in my life is be a judge on a singing show. All I want to do.
Ours would probably be more like rhythm and flow.
Yeah, for sure. You're right. Yeah,
good show, though. It might be better than...
a good show.
It might be better than American Idol. I've tried out for American Idol and The Voice a couple times,
Have
actually.
You really?
Yeah, I was young, though. I was like 15 and 16, maybe 17.
Did you see the new show that's out right now with the avatars?
No.
Oh, I saw
the Masked Singer?
Yeah, no, they
not the Masked
backstage
Singer.
with like, I don't even.
But it's like you're like so you're hooked up to like this like CGI like gear and stuff like that, and then you have like an avatar. You could be like a bee or a alien or something like that. It's like the Masked Singer, but it's all CGI'd.
Okay.
So like you're just like a computer generated like person, but the vocals are like the person itself.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Dude, I don't know how long these shows are keep going.
Yeah, right.
Like,
they're fucking reaching now, bro. They're reaching.
I'm like, Masked Singer was cool for a minute, and then the Masked Dancer and all that. I'm like, I don't know about this one.
I would say that one specifically is more up my alley because no one would see me, you know? So like that's cool. It takes away from like the pressure of it a little bit. Whereas like the Masked Singer, you're still in this crazy costume doing like crazy things.
Right.
Like it's not really helping you hide.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah, it is.
True. Actually, you know, I never even thought of it like that. That might be the way to like really, okay, just let my voice shine and then the CGI can do whatever the hell else it wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
But
that.
I think it'd be kind of hard because you got to like kind of perform with the
Yeah,
CGI
I mean, you
shit
still
too.
got to have to make the
Are you in
movements.
like the suits?
Yeah, like you're
like all
backstage,
dots
but they
and
have like
stuff
the
on you.
little ball things that like had the CGI
All right.
stuff.
So I got a question for you then. Since you tried out for both of these, and I'm a fucking, everybody knows that that's my guilty pleasure. It's not even a guilty pleasure at this point. I just straight up fucking love American Idol. But I know the way they frame that show is total bullshit.
Yeah.
So like they make it seem like all these people are just waiting in line, then you go in and try out, and there's no way that it's like that.
No. So basically the experience that I had, so I tried out for American Idol. I think I tried out for American Idol once and The Voice twice. American Idol, kind of the same concept for both. You are in those long lines. Ryan Seacrest is there on the golf cart. He is going around. He's shouting at people. And then, you go into this big, it's usually an arena of some sort, stadium, and they have all of these, not tents, but like, fabric dividers, and they have 4 or so, however many talent scouts sitting at a table, and you're just in this line, this long, long line, and it's like the next 5 people, they call up to the first tent, the next 5 people after that, second 10, and there's, I don't know, probably like 10 or something, and you literally just, they call you forward, you step forward, you sing, and everyone in the arena can hear you. You're singing over other people at the same time
weird.
as them.
Oh,
It was very nerve-wracking.
That'd
very
kill me.
strange. The voice was a little different. It was a little bit more private. We went into private rooms rather than everyone just doing it in front of each other.
And these are in front of different people before you even see the real judge, like the show's judges, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like the pre-judges.
like the
the
producers of the
pre-screen.
show and stuff like that. Yeah.
They're talent scouts.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, and then I don't know. I never made it, so I don't know what happens after that. But I assume you make it through that round. You either go to another round or you go straight to like the actual judging that you see on TV.
Any chance you're gonna try this again?
No. No. So I've learned that American Idol, well, it's shows like that, you kind of get roped into a contract that they choose everything. They choose your label,
Totally.
they choose this, they choose that.
Totally.
And it's a really good way to break through, but it's not the greatest way for someone who is just starting out in music. And I think I seem a little bit more established than I am, but I am just starting out in music. I don't have a background in it, and I just started making music in 2019. Played a couple shows, COVID happened. I really don't have that much experience. So I don't think getting up on a stage in front of that many people is like the best route for me to take.
Trial by
Plus, then
fire,
they go,
man.
this is the one part that I think is always kind of corny about American Idol, like, because I like just watching people sing good, like that's why I like
As
it.
you
But
just
like,
bigged up American Idol.
yeah, I know, but this is the part that I think is corny. Then they go like into like making your video package, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
then, so it's like whatever sad shit that happened to you in your life, they like play into that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
look at he overcame this and this and this.
The
and it's just, like, it always
backstories.
feels fucking corny to me.
We did have to fill out a form
Yeah.
with our backstory. And that I think, it's not something I really thought about at the time when I was auditioning, but thinking back now, I would not have wanted to do that. I don't do well on camera. Like, I'm very nervous on camera, and I get really like awkward and like quirky, and I don't think I would want to tell my whole life story on American Idol.
So that's
Yeah,
really
it would be
putting
tough.
yourself out there, man. So, yeah.
It would be tough for sure.
You got to be really like open and secure, like for that one
Yeah.
to come out. Yeah.
And you need a really like heavy backstory.
yeah.
It's so exactly.
So speaking of the pandemic and that you kind of, started your thing like right before it hit, did you find, being in lockdown and all that, like an inspiring time for you making music? Or was it kind of like, blah, I can't think of anything because I'm not living, like.
Lockdown was both hell for me and both the very beautiful experience. I went through a ton of shit. Like, I had health issues. My cat had health issues. I went through a breakup. Like, it was a very rough time for me. I lost friends and I couldn't be creative. But once things started to lift a little bit, and I was quarantined alone for most of it.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
I kind of loved it. There was one point where I realized it was in the middle of winter. I had gone 12 days without going outside
Holy
or
shit.
leaving. But I was creating.
Yeah.
And so that was like a very both crazy but beautiful like experience. And also I went through a lot of like ego death and a lot of just like, death of who I was at that point in my life, and had to really step back, reassess. I took down pretty much all the music I had made, and it was because like I realized I didn't know who I was as an artist, and I didn't want to represent myself. And also I had to go through the really tough realization that I didn't know how to sing. I had to start taking lessons, and it was not like to a point where it was like damaging me, but I knew I was starting to get recognized, and I knew if I kept this up, if I didn't, learn how to do this correctly, I wouldn't last. It wouldn't work out for me. So I really had to kind of stop everything and relearn how to sing. And I had been singing for over 20 years.
Yeah.
And that was kind of devastating for me because it's like walking. Like you think you know how to walk, and then one day someone's like, oh, you have to relearn how to do all of this. it was really, really challenging.
Lessons are important too, because singing is not just having a good voice. You know, you have to know how to keep time. You know, flat notes. You know, and you have to know sharp notes. You
have to know how to use your body.
Yeah, and styling, and then
and then when you get performances, and you got like crowd control. You got like actually like projecting. It's different than like singing in front of your friends, than singing in a booth, than singing like in front of 20, 50, 100,000. 50,000, whatever people it may be.
Oh, yeah.
No wonder why everyone just throws autotune on their shit.
Yeah.
It's the standard.
This is easier.
And, like, I had learned how to make bad technique sound good. And, like, I did it. People didn't know I didn't know how to sing, but it's a world of difference. And I'm still learning. Like, I still haven't had it perfected. Shout out to Franklin. Franklin is my vocal coach. But it's very different. And, like, it's one thing to, learn how to, make bad techniques sound good, but it's another thing to know how to use your body and do it correctly and still sound good. Because I remember he was really helpful for me to, like, let go of, like, I don't want to change how I'm singing because I don't want to change how I sound. And that was really tough for me because I had already started my career. I was already getting noticed. And when you're an upcoming artist and you're starting to get traction, you don't stop. You hit the gas and you go harder. And I really had to reassess my whole life and be like, fuck, I have to like take some time off and I have to relearn and I have to, like get myself in a place, not only physically, but emotionally where I can make this happen for myself. And I'm just now feeling like I'm getting to that place.
Yeah. I know we've talked about this also, and we brought it up a little bit on the podcast last week about, how everyone expects it to be this. I mean, and it does move fast, but like everyone expects it to be like an overnight success. Like they think that they're going to start making music today,
it takes
and
10
then tomorrow
years.
they're going to be Drake. You know what I mean?
It takes 10 years to be an overnight success. That's what I've heard.
And I always thought it would be simple like that too. And I was one of those people that I wanted to be a child star. Every step of the way I've thought I was ready. And it wasn't until quarantine where I realized I am not ready. Like, I'm still not ready. Like, I need that time. I need to make mistakes on stage. I need to, like,
develop.
Figure out who I am. And even with the Motown Accelerator program, I didn't think I was ready the whole time until I hit that top 5 mark. And I was like, oh, my God, I got this. Like, I'm ready. I can do this. And then I didn't get it. And I'm like, fuck, I'm not ready. And it's a blessing because I honestly... if I would have gotten it, it would have happened the same time frame of me moving to a new city, me taking down all my music, me just like really reforming myself as a person and as an artist, and it would have been too much. I don't think I would have been able to handle all of the pressure of it. And so it really turned out to be like this beautiful moment of growth for me that really kind of like shook me out of like my comfort zone.
Right. And there's a lot of shit that happens to child stars.
That's a fact. We talked about that quite a bit.
We talked about that several episodes. It's just like having that mental like maturity, and then you have to have like a good circle around you to really like get through that. Otherwise, you could really fall into I'm gonna just break it. You can fall into the bullshit of everything.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
So.
And then like also it's like a lot of those people since they're child stars, they're doing the adult life as a kid. So then. Once a show ends or whatever, a lot of the times they go crazy, drugs and alcohol, because now they're like, all right, I'm going to go have fun for a while and do this shit.
Yeah, I mean, on top of that, you got money, you got fame,
money too.
You got access to whatever the fuck you want to have.
I remember seeing an interview with
like
Drew Barrymore where she said she was doing cocaine by like 11 years old.
Oh my God, that's so insane.
Isn't that insane? She was in
crazy.
E.T. when she was like, I think like 6 or 7 years old, and she said she was going to like Studio 54 by the time she was like 10, 11, like snorting coke, drinking and shit. Like
it's just a different lifestyle. It's a completely different, like if you grow up as a child star, like you cannot relate to anyone else who's not been a child star.
Exactly.
There's like people like that's been in there like their whole life, like because when their family's involved in it too.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was listening to I talk about this podcast a lot because I love him. But Dak Shepard's podcast, when he had Robin Thicke on there, and he was talking about like his dad, Alan Thicke, who was on
Growing Pains.
Growing Pains, yeah. So he's talking about like it was weird. Like I the friends I had, just the circle I had. Like I didn't have like a normal childhood. Like I took my bike and I rode through like the movie lots and shit. I'm like, oh, there's Ghostbusters. Oh, there's all this, and then I just go out and then we can like, my dad like has this like Ferrari with a bunch of women and stuff like that. Like it's just weird because my dad played this like family guy, like this family person on TV, and then when I go back to his life, he's like living in this like bachelor pad. Like at the time, with just like everything going
That's
on.
why I'm glad we're podcasting.
Or another
If we
one
ever
too.
blow up, they'll just know my voice.
Another one too in that situation, and I mean, she didn't grow up to be famous, but I watched a Rick James documentary.
Oh,
that
I
just
haven't
came
seen
out.
that yet. Is it
Bitchin'?
good?
It's so good.
Okay, I
Yeah,
gotta
it's
watch
like
that.
2 hours long.
Is that Hulu?
Yeah, it's on Hulu. Yeah, if you ever chance
I
Rick
haven't
James,
seen it yet,
it's so
yeah.
good. Yeah, his daughter's in the opening scene, and they were talking about how you can tell he was living a rock star lifestyle a lot, but he tried to tone it down when around us. But there was so many nights where it's like 7 a.m. I am stepping over different girls and like bottles and shit like that. It's just-
I wouldn't be able to. I don't think I'd be able to handle fame, dude. Like, it would be really tough for me. Like, I would, like, especially, like, if you're, like, a Kardashian. Like, there's no way I would live in L.A. if I was the Kardashians. Like, stepping out my front door and having, like, 8,000 people taking a picture of me. Like, fuck
Why
that.
you think Kanye moved to Wyoming or whatever?
Yeah,
it
for
is?
real, bro.
And honestly, I think that is a big reason why I've held myself back so much because I don't want that. I want to make music. I want to, I want to create. I want to be able to live without having to worry about expenses and things, but I don't need mansions. I don't need all these things. I don't want to be recognized. I don't want to. I went to a show the other night, and this is really cool, but this girl, she apparently knew who I was. She recognized me, and she ran up and gave me, like, the biggest hug, and it freaked me out.
Hell yeah.
And,
that's
like-
just her personal space.
And COVID and everything, and, like, it was really nice. It was one of those, like,
Yeah.
bittersweet moments where I'm like, this is so cool. Like, it's happened a couple times now, and that's just, like, it's amazing.
Uh-huh.
But I'm also like, okay, don't touch me.
Yeah.
Just stay a couple feet away. I don't want that, but you have to sacrifice something,
Yeah, and it's kind of like almost impossible to avoid in today. Like, it would have been a lot easier to be a rock star in like the 60s and shit before like
Social media
and stuff. Because now like they're literally, you have to have like all these, Twitter and all this shit to like to even exist out there. Like, you gotta build up your
unless
brand.
you were already established.
Yeah, unless you're already
beforehand.
established. Yeah, I mean, like, I would be like a Kendrick Lamar, where I would just not even if I'm like that famous. I'm putting out my album. You won't see me for 2 years, and then I'm gonna come back and drop another album.
And then I'm
You
like,
won't see me for
I'm
2 years.
gonna go ride bikes and chill for 3 months on end, and then
Yeah, for sure.
just not use my cell phone.
Or like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would love that.
or to bring up Norm Macdonald one more time, like just talk about like people being private and stuff. Like, he had cancer for 10 years and nobody fucking knew. He didn't tell anybody. Like,
Chadwick Boseman.
yeah,
Yeah.
that too.
Oh,
And he said
yeah.
he didn't tell anyone because he didn't want people to like pity him while he was doing stand up. He didn't want people to like react differently to his art because of like they now know that he has cancer or whatever. So that's crazy.
I imagine it's really hard to hide your personal life so well because it's not really in your control. Like, you have to trust all the people around you to do that. But it's got to be really hard to have to make that decision of like, do I tell people? Like, how is that going to affect my career? How is that going to affect my life? Like, I clearly don't have that much time left if you have cancer. Like, you never
Yeah.
know. But at the same time, do you owe it to your fans to, like, how personal do you get with your fan base?
Right. And then people also like, I think there's a lot of people with, mental illness out there, and people like think because they follow you on social media and, stuff like that they like know you. And it's like, like people can get, overstep boundaries for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So it's an interesting time. I swear, if we didn't have this podcast, I don't think I would have social media anymore. I haven't been on Facebook in forever. I mean, I do like Instagram for pictures and stuff.
It's a
but
necessary evil.
It
and I
is.
hate to
It
say
really
I
is.
hate to
Totally
have it,
is.
but it is a necessary evil.
it sucks.
It is. I wouldn't have it if I like looking at memes. That's fun.
there you
but
go.
yeah, but if I wasn't trying to build a career as an artist, I wouldn't care. I don't like social media, and quite frankly, I'm kind of bad at it now because I have to really decide most days, like, is this worth it to me today to have to stress over a post or like get all these things ready? And like, when you do it strategically, it's easier in a way because you can plan it out, but it doesn't feel genuine that way. And yeah, so I'm a stories person.
Yeah, I mostly just post like the podcast posts, or I'll post like little clips of music and shit on there because I'm like, I don't really feel like posting anything else on here.
I'm a meme lord, man.
Yeah, you do like the
Yes.
memes.
I'm a
Yep.
meme lord all day.
But you're mostly in your story too. Like,
Yeah.
you don't post like a whole lot on Instagram.
No, I have maybe like 30, 40 posts over like the course of my Instagram. It's just like me just like sweeping and cleaning up every once in a while.
I have been getting a lot more followers lately, though. I've been noticing that. I don't know. It's
That's
climbing,
cool.
climbing quicker. I'm like, this is kind of tight.
You about to get the comma, bro.
Yeah.
About to
Yeah,
get
for
the
sure.
comma.
Yeah, I think I'm almost around.
I finally got my comma.
Oh, did you? It was funny. That's like so I'm watching this new show on what is that? Apple TV, maybe. It's called Mr. Corman. It's written, directed, and starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And Logic is on it. He's one of the main characters on it. He plays one of Joseph Gordon-Levitt's friend. And like, there's this whole scene where they're like, he's like, oh, bro, because he's kind of like popular, like on social media or whatever. He's like, oh, dude, if you hang out with me, snap a couple pictures, we might get you from 400 to 450 tonight, my man. And like the whole episode, he keeps pulling it up. He's like, oh, I'm almost there. That show is great, by the way. You guys should all watch it. It's a pretty honest representation of what it's like to develop anxiety and depression and not know what the fuck is going on with your body and your mind. And I just think he does it really well. It's really like artsy too and fun to watch. Like episodes of like go in and out of like cartoonish looking like visuals and stuff. It's really cool. Shout out to Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I love that guy.
It looked really good. And we need shows like that. We need representation. I struggle with, depression, anxiety, all these things. And I didn't have anything to teach me that when I was growing up. I just thought I was insane.
Mm-hmm.
No,
and
same.
Nobody really stressed about it up until like recently. I feel like, 'cause I actually, ironically enough, I went to the doctor's a couple days ago, and I was telling him like I want to get tested for ADHD, and then he's an old school doctor. He goes like, "AD, you want to get tested for AIDS?" I'm like, "No, ADHD." And I was like, it just wasn't a thing around that time, and it was just like, it's crazy, man.
Yeah,
think about.
Yeah, and then like up to this point, there hasn't really been a lot of options for treatment. I got diagnosed with ADD when I was, I don't know, 13, 14, and dyslexia, and I was given Adderall.
Same.
And especially, I think I was like 90 pounds. Like, you don't give like a 90-pound girl going through puberty Adderall.
No.
That shit is that shit hits you so hard sometimes.
Yeah.
I had to leave class one time because I'm like, this is overwhelming.
Oh,
I am like messed up right now.
I had such bad anxiety attacks from it that I would
Me too.
be taken to the hospital because I thought I was seizing, because I was just having like I was just shorting out. Like it didn't make sense to me. And also I still to this day have facial twitches. I don't take it anymore, but it's like still affected me long term.
It is an Adderall nation. There is a mad motherfuckers out here, a lot of motherfuckers out here with on Adderall. And it's crazy. I started because the winter was really tough for me, speaking of the pandemic, because I am a very extroverted person, and not even being able to just like go outside because it's cold and then having to stay in the house, everything's locked down, like that almost broke me. So I started doing therapy on the phone. We would just do like video calls or whatever. And she thinks I was misdiagnosed with ADD when I was a kid and thought it was really just anxiety and depression that I was dealing with my whole life. And so like, because I was telling her, I was like, I hated taking Adderall in school. Like, it used to really bug me out. I wouldn't eat. My total mood change, like all of that. And she's like, yeah, I think you might have been misdiagnosed.
That's funny because, well, it's not funny, but I was talking with my therapist about that recently too. And like, we're going to like redo a diagnosis to make sure that I wasn't misdiagnosed, because that apparently was a very popular diagnosis when they didn't know what was wrong with you.
Totally. They were giving everyone Ritalin and all that shit.
Guys. This is great.
Yeah.
You got, therapy's so important, man.
I just started therapy like a month ago. They tell you like it gets worse before it gets better, and it's just the streak of like going through the shit because you're just you have like that unbiased like point of view about things and stuff like that, and it's just like, oh, shit.
That was the other thing. This podcast is a form of therapy for him and I, and like we didn't do the podcast almost the entire pandemic. You know, so
and we won an award.
And we won an award while we were off for a
crazy.
year and a half. That was pretty sweet. What was that? Was that out of Washtenaw County?
Shout out to they did the best of Washtenaw County post.
We're coming from the Detroit Music Awards next year, baby.
Oh yeah.
Do
That's
they have
so
a
sick,
podcast
though.
section on there?
Damn, huh?
Do they have a podcast section?
Detroit Music Awards does have a podcast section.
Oh shit,
yes,
we're coming for that next year, baby. We're gonna win it.
I'm gonna get
Manifest
I'm
it.
shooting for a music one and a podcast one in the same year.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I feel like a Detroit EGOT.
Detroit. Damn, what is it? Who is it? I forgot the name of the magazine, man. I feel terrible too.
Oh yeah, the one that we got the award for. I forget too.
I hate it because like
Good job, guys.
I didn't even know. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. We didn't even know we were nominated.
Was it called?
That's crazy.
Was it called the Eagle?
No.
No.
No, I know. Shit. I'm tripping, man.
It's been a hard year. We can
Yeah.
excuse it.
It's the wine, man. The Detroit Sweet Red is pretty great.
But yeah, therapy is just so important, and it is difficult to get started because you have to find the right match for you. But when you haven't been in therapy, you don't know that you can be like, hey, I don't like you. Like, this isn't working for me. Can I have someone new?
It's hard to be honest too. You have to like you realize like I'm talking to my therapist right now. Like I'm supposed to be telling her like all the truth, and I'm still finding myself like,
Yeah.
don't want to be embarrassed, so I don't want to tell her this part
Yeah.
about, you know what I mean? Like,
I was both very fortunate and unfortunate to have started therapy when I was like 13, 14, and I've pretty much been in it since. And I mean, it's life changing.
Totally.
But my whole, teenage, even young adult life, I lied to my therapists, all of them. Like I could not tell them things because I was just so used to hiding things, and it didn't feel safe, and I didn't know how they would react. I didn't want to offend them. I didn't. It's really hard to be so vulnerable with a person, and my therapist now is great. She's shout out to her. I've never been so honest in my life.
That's another thing too, is just like finding the right one.
Yeah.
And like, I remember like when I was a kid, I was going through therapy and stuff like that, and then I stopped for a long time up until about 2018 when my mom passed away. I was like, all right, I'm gonna try and get back in. I went through 2, and I hated them both. And I was just like one of those people who's just like, all right, I don't think we a good fit, man. And I just really didn't want to go through it again for a while.
Yeah.
And then just like you, like I kind of had like that seasonal depression going on for a minute. And then, I decided recently this year, like I gotta get back and try and get my mind right.
Good.
It's funny too. You always think you're like, oh, you know what? I'm good now. I don't really need to. And then like a month goes by, and you're like, start to
surprise!
spiral. You're like, oh shit! Oh no!
Yeah,
We
it
still
always
here.
always comes back. Yeah,
Current magazine, by the way.
Current magazine.
Good
call.
Nice.
Shout out to
I'm
them.
glad you remembered that.
nice.
But anyways, so I guess since we've already been talking for quite a long time, let's roll into something old, something new this week.
This is gonna be a very abridged version, guys.
Yeah,
just
we
for time,
we
so.
we're usually we go off on like nerdy like a long
We-
ass
we
hour
are-
on
I
it, but
swear-
we kept it shorter this week
We
for
are
the sake
not
of
doing
Eric.
any Eric, we love you so much that we are not gonna go on any tangent. Okay, got it. All right, cool. He gave us a thumbs up, guys.
Last week was long though. Last week was one of those type of episodes like Will was so easy to talk to that like we could have probably gone like another 2 hours.
I kind of want a part 2 with Will.
I would
are
totally-
Are you familiar with Will?
Through Neil.
He is the man, man. Yeah, at Will Band. I've seen him play a couple times. Like they are like him, Mirage, Nappy. That whole like collective is just dope. So
Yeah,
shout
I
out
still
to
got
them.
to sit with Nappy's album some more. I've only listened to like
Oh, it's
handful of
good.
tracks. That's what everyone
Yeah.
keeps saying.
Yeah,
It's like,
Cloud
oh, shit.
13.
That shit we
Yeah.
played last
Very
week was
talented.
insane. Like, yeah, he's really good. I'm excited for what he's got in store. But anyways, something old, something new. I think. Did you start it last week or did I?
You can start it. It don't
Okay,
matter.
I'll start it then. And usually I have some kind of like reason that I picked what I picked. And I don't really have a good reason this week, honestly, other than the fact that I found some of my old like mix CDs from high school. And I found this awesome Otis Redding mix that I had. And I was like, God damn it, I forgot how amazing all of his music is.
I love him.
Yeah, so I went with his very first album all the way back to 1965, which is called Pain in My Heart. And it's kind of like interesting when you think about black artists making music in that time because he's from Georgia. And, when he got his start in the early 60s, he was playing in the South, in the deep South. And there was only like a handful of establishments along the South where black musicians could even play. So, it's hard to gain a big following in that regard. But then he ended up, getting some success with this album and moving out to California and was able to play a lot of different spots in the North and then like even in Europe. So, he kind of like took off after that. But unfortunately, it's really crazy to think like, I didn't even realize that he was only like out. His first album came out in '65, and he died in 1967 in a plane crash. So like he had such a short-lived career, which I feel like you read about that sometimes, and it's like, man, you didn't even get to live to see like how big your music became, which is like mind-blowing.
That's
to me.
always unfortunate. Like the people who like the struggling artist type deal who pass away before they can really see their impact. It's just one of those things like, damn, dude, if you only knew like what you would have become.
He changed the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Totally. Let me pull up some Otis Redding so I can play a little bit of it for you. And that's what I posted that on my Instagram story yesterday. I'm like, new singers trying out or just starting making music, just put as much heart into it as Otis Redding did because holy shit, man, you could hear like every bit of like how much he cared when you're hearing his music. So let me pull that up for you real quick. Pain in My Heart. And let's see. Oh, God, I'm playing this. This song is called These Arms of Mine by Otis Redding. That voice, like, the music almost doesn't even matter because his voice is so captivating.
It's just one of those ones where it's just like, damn, it just kind of like draws you in. type
Totally.
thing,
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And I love Otis's music, too, because it's heavy on the horn section. Like, there's so many horns in all of his music, so I love it a lot. Yeah, shout out to Otis Redding. E-Man, what did you have for something old, my friend?
So, in the tradition of me just watching the Rick James documentary,
Nice,
I
yes.
decided, and ironically enough, I was just looking up like the FAQs on this album, and it was actually released my grandmother's birthday.
Oh.
But I'm gonna go "Street Songs" by Rick James as
Nice.
my something old.
I might watch that tonight.
Dude, it's like 2 hours. You can knock it out.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually pretty great. Street Songs is the 5th album by Rick James, released on April 7th, 1981 on Gordy Records. They had the singles "Give It to Me, Baby" and "Super Freak." A lot of people credit this album just because this was like Rick James really coming into like his artistry as far as him as a songwriter, because this is more of like, because songs like Mr. Policeman, for instance, were more like reality based instead of just like songs about like girls and drugs and shit like that. So this was like more of like him coming out as like his own, like finding his artist identity. So kind of like how you were talking about like finding that identity as an artist, stuff like that. Some people don't find it till, they're already midway through their career. So
Yeah.
The confidence this man had to wear what he had on this album cover.
Yeah, man. The confidence where he wore like on a fucking
Yeah, on a regular
show
basis.
basis.
Or like
Every
anyone in
basis.
show business in the 80s for that matter. Like,
Prince.
yeah.
Prince wore. I just saw a photo of Prince wearing like assless chaps and shit on
Dude,
stage.
it's like Lady Gaga in her meat dress.
Yeah,
like,
what? Or what did Doja Cat just had like a worm dress
man.
on at the fucking
Ooh,
VMAs? Like,
no.
it's so bizarre.
Lil Nas X.
She had
been
one
rocking
where
it. Yeah.
there was one, she had like a different outfit because she presented or hosted the MTV Video Awards. There was one where she had a hat on that was just an upside down chair. Like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I saw that photo. What the hell?
But anyways, what song should I rock? Should I go with Mr. Policeman off here? Or?
You know what? Let's go with Mr. Policeman.
Yeah, I kind of want to hear.
Or Ghetto Life. One of the two. I'll go with Mr. Policeman.
Let's go Mr. Policeman.
Yeah.
Let's hear him getting a little social political on us.
His beef with rappers.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
So
That's a thing?
I forgot. I think when like rap was starting to get big around the 80s, right? And he was just talking about like they would show clips like 2 Live Crew and all this stuff like that, and just like how misogynistic it was to women, like, which is ironic from Rick James saying this. Now, like you're looking at it in retrospect, but he was going through like really bad like coke, like just drug addiction and stuff like that around that time, and he just was like, you know what, I don't care, I don't want any rappers like sampling my music no matter what. And like, mind you, he's like almost going broke at this point. And then fucking MC Hammer comes out with "Can't Touch This," which was a Super Freak sample.
Oh, is that a super? Yeah, you're right. Holy shit, I never even considered that. Wow, that is totally.
So he heard it, and he goes like, oh no, he goes like, and he had that line like, my music makes it go. He goes like, your music, that's my music. You're sampling. He goes on a whole tangent. He calls his manager up like, I don't want this shit. Like, I need to get this. Like, I need to put this dude in the ground. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. He goes, you're gonna be making X amount of millions from this song. He goes, oh shit, let it go.
I wonder how he feels about this one then. Remember when Busta did this?
I feel like this could come back as a TikTok
Yeah.
sound.
Totally.
Yeah.
You know what? Another one too, like Gucci.
Gucci did it too?
She's a very freaky girl.
shit.
Don't bring her
yeah.
to mama.
Oh, man. God, I didn't even think about that either. Yeah. Yeah, Rick James is all over hip hop, man, whether he likes it or not.
Another two, it was his beef with MTV was another one, because MTV wasn't playing like black music at that time, and then he went on like several tangents about MTV and just like, oh yeah, like no, they only play like white music and white rockers and stuff like that, and just like start, and he was like, all right, Michael Jackson.
Bowie did the same thing. He called out like he was getting interviewed by some like executive from MTV, and he was like, "Why come you guys don't play black music on this channel?" And he was like kind of like speechless, you know,
Damn.
caught him totally off guard. He was
I
like,
actually didn't know that.
He was like, I'll send you the video.
Okay.
It's all over the
I
place. on
always,
the
like,
internet.
and I always talk about this. I respect Bowie as like an artist. I just never really was a big fan of his music.
Same.
I do respect him as an artist. So.
For me, like, I think what it is, like, if you're just like a casual fan, like, I know how that take would, yeah, I think that makes sense to me. But like, when you go back and just start listening to like all this shit, you're like, okay, this is starting to like, this is really fucking amazing. Like, so yeah, he's got like a lot. That's how it was for me, at least. I was kind of the same way. I was like, I don't really care for this music, and then I started listening to like his actual full albums and shit. And I'm like, oh, I do get this now.
No, I mean they're concepts for sure, and I was like, I always love I love the concepts of it, and I love like the different personalities. Cause feel like a lot of people bite that. Like we talk about like Ziggy Stardust and stuff like that. I felt a lot of people have like those white Russian man, all those altered personalities. But yeah, I get it.
And his influence is everywhere. Like, I mean, you can even dial it down to Tyler the Creator. You know, with like presenting yourself as a new character every time
Tyler
you put new music
Baudelaire,
out, you know?
Wolf Haley, Ace
totally.
Creator.
For sure.
I never really got into Bowie, but what I enjoy is his interviews. I really like him as a person
yeah, totally.
because he just like has paved the way for people to be themselves.
Yeah, and even the way that even the way he died was so Bowie-esque. Like he like planned his last album around it. Like it's like directly
Blackstar,
about
right?
that. Yeah, like
Yeah.
the video, like everything, like it came out on the day that he died, which is
That's
fucking
crazy.
crazy. Which is, like,
I did not know that.
It's nuts. Like I remember listening to that album at work, just like crying my eyes out because I'm like, oh, he just fucking died today. And I listen to the music. Yeah. Yeah, I love Bowie though. I'm a super fan now. But anyways. What have you been listening to on the old music tip? Because I know you listen to plenty of it.
Yeah, so I've been trying to think of what I want to pick for a while because most of my influences are from like the 20s to the 60s. Like I like older music, but I decided to pick something that actually isn't from that long ago.
Okay, I like it.
Do you know who C'est La Sue is?
No.
So
Spell that for me.
yeah, okay. The song is called Crazy Vibes
Crazy
by
Vibes.
Selah Selah.
I feel like that would be like a 2021 song, like titled. As
Yeah.
Well now.
C'est La Sue.
Yeah.
I found it.
I had a lot of people tell me that we have similar voices, but I didn't know who she was.
I never heard of her
And
either.
I really like her music.
Okay. Let's see. C'est La Sue. What was the name of the song?
Crazy Vibes.
Crazy Vibes. Let's find
Crazy
that.
Vibes.
Oh, she's got a song with CeeLo on here.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
When did this come out?
I'm not sure. I can look though.
I love when our
2000s?
guests stump us on the music. That's my favorite. When it's something I haven't heard
Yeah.
of before, that's the best.
Fam, I just realized we weren't following Current Magazine until just now.
Ah!
They followed us, but we were following them.
Dude, I do that all the time. I pulled a T-Pain the other day. Like, so, like, I thought that you could just see all your messages. I didn't know that there actually was the request tab.
Oh yeah.
Because did you see the video that he posted?
No.
Where he discovered that that's there. He's like, I have been ignoring some of the biggest fucking musicians ever. He was like, so he went through like all his messages and he was showing all the people like all the messages that he got. He was like, fucking Fergie. I ignored Fergie.
There's a Facebook one too that does that. Has like message requests and
Yeah.
stuff like. I miss that one all the time, and I had to sort through them. Like, holy shit, there's so many people here. I apologize.
I
guys.
always forget to check it too because I have a lot of people who, a lot of it's like bots, you know, and
Yeah,
stuff.
scam
Yeah, a
porn.
lot of-
shit.
Yeah, exactly.
The majority is bots for sure.
Yeah. But I'll have like producers or even just like people say they discovered me on Spotify or TikTok or, you know, wherever. And I always forget about it. So every like 3 to 6 months, I'm like, oh shit. Okay. I got to go through and like either choose to reply to all these people or like ignore them or yeah. So
Shout out to the promoted on here bots because y'all are my biggest fans. They're so quick, dude. It's like, I don't understand how it's so fast. The second I post it, there'll be like 3 comments. Promote your shit on here. Promote
Yeah.
your shit on here.
Dude, I mean, have you seen our post? Have you seen our comment section?
Yeah, for sure. You know what's funny though? Speaking of that, I heard that like the algorithms like are designed to like kind of fuck with people that are trying to promote small business. Like it only like
Really?
promotes your stuff to like a small percentage of your followers.
Social media stepping on a little guy? No.
Yeah, right.
I heard that. I heard that's like a more recent thing too. I didn't
Yeah.
do any research on it. I don't know. But I also, when I heard that, I don't like to scroll on Instagram. Like I post and like I watch stories, but I don't really scroll that much. But I started scrolling just to see like who I was seeing. It was all advertisements or like
Yep.
bigger artists, or I didn't have any people that were like my friends or, you know, people that I know. And yeah, it made me
You wanna
like
hear something crazy?
annoyed.
Every
Yeah.
I think it's every 5th post. Some people's every 4th, some people's every 5th, but every 4th or 5th post is an advertisement. If you
Yeah.
scroll right
Oh yeah,
now,
that
if
makes
you scroll
sense
right
for
now.
sure. And
Yeah.
they used to get me all the time until I got like pretty much everything you order on Instagram is a piece of shit. and
Yeah.
it like takes forever to ship.
You order
like-
shit on Instagram?
Oh, I've definitely ordered shit off Instagram ads
I've
before.
never even thought about doing that.
You've
I'm
never
just-
ordered anything off an
off
Instagram ad before?
Instagram? No.
Really?
I haven't, but I've gone to like the Etsy page of whatever, or I found it on Amazon myself because I noticed when I
Yeah.
like the post, I get more ads.
Yeah.
Or if I save it, it's like I go to Google and it's that ad there
Yeah.
too. And I'm just like, I don't like that. So
There's-
I take screenshots.
Yeah, now I read consumer reports and shit like that.
What was the documentary? What was the Netflix documentary about this shit?
About
There was a
what?
Netflix
Oh,
documentary about this. What was the name
About
of
the
it?
algorithms?
Yes.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I know what you're talking about
It's
too.
like, okay, yeah, if you like something say for instance, I'm in the Home Depot's website or something like that. If you like it because of the browser cookies or whatever, it'll carry over to your social media. And
They
you start seeing
share, they
ads for it.
sell
for sure.
information.
You can just be talking about some shit and it'll pop up an ad
That
for it.
is-
It's
I
happened
hate
So many
that.
times. I don't like it. I kind of want like a downgraded flip phone. My grandma has the right idea. To be honest with you.
yeah, I agree.
The clamshell boy back.
But anyhow, so that was a good one, by the way. So C'est La Sue is how you pronounce it?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, I really enjoyed that. Oh, speaking of pronunciations, on this podcast for roughly 2 years, I've been saying how I like this artist named Dawn Richard, and I just found out her last name's pronounced Richard.
Oh.
And I've been saying it like
I got to
that
walk
forever.
back for you too. So going back to the Pajamas Band episode, I definitely said Phoebe Bridges.
What is it? Oh, Bridgers.
Bridgers, yes,
Yeah,
I've definitely
That's an
said
easy
it.
one to do.
That was also before I went to go see her live.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
You're probably
oh,
just
yeah.
mixing her and Leon Bridges up in the same.
I think so. I think that might. I hope you know what. Let's go with that. That's exactly what happened.
I think he's coming here soon, isn't he? I think Leon Bridges
Ooh,
has
I
a
wanna
show.
go.
here.
Yeah, he
I
is
would
in
love to.
October. Yeah,
And I have Isaiah Rashad on Wednesday. Ooh.
I got RMR next week.
Who?
RMR,
RMR.
I don't know who that is.
Wait, I just sound familiar.
face mask, grill, sing.
Oh, yeah. The guy
I
with
love
the
that dude.
country dude?
I love that dude so much. RMR.
For
RMR is probably my favorite new find of like the year so far.
I'm going to have to check them out.
Speaking of new finds, that's a good segue into something new.
Hey.
So this is one that it came out last week, and I totally forgot to talk about it on the podcast, and it's one I've been like really excited for. If you don't know him, his name is AZ. He's very famous for rapping with Nas a lot in the early 90s. They both got their start together, and he's all over.
The Firm?
He's the Firm. He's in the Firm. Yeah. He's all over Nas's first album. He has like arguably the better verse on "Life's a Bitch." By the way, a lot of people. I think it's better, but anyways, he has a new album out, "Do or Die Part 2." And it is really, really good. It's got the intros done by Idris Elba, which is pretty cool. And then you got, Rick Ross is on here, Conway the Machine, Lil Wayne, Dave East, T-Pain. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I'm going to play the one with Conway and Lil Wayne because it's kind of crazy.
Conway is in the Rick James doc, by the way.
Is he really?
Yes, because Rick James from Buffalo.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Wow.
That's crazy. Shout out Conway. And this song was produced by Alchemist. So shout out Alchemist. Here's Ritual. Nobody makes beats like Alchemist
This
makes
sounds
beats.
like Alchemist produced.
So I want to know where he gets his information or his inspiration.
a lot
from,
of
'cause
most
they're
of his
so
shit.
off the like.
It's so, and this is perfect, like for Griselda sound too. That
Totally.
and then like, Bodie James, I guess, is Griselda
Lil Wayne
too,
smokes
but, yeah.
that shit too. I don't know where Lil Wayne is getting his inspiration from lately, but I've heard like 3 good Lil Wayne verses in a row lately, and that makes me happy.
This, the Tyler album, and
Yep,
then,
and then,
something else.
What else was?
I have not heard Lil Wayne in a while.
It was
He's been
this-
killing. He's been
Really?
killing features this year.
This, the Tyler, and what the hell else? Was it
The
on?
Tyler album was like instant classic for me.
It
Like,
might have been on the Drake album. No, it wasn't on the Drake one. I can't remember. I'll remember it for next week. But yeah. Anyways, AZ Do or Die 2. It's really good. I'm excited that he still sounds as good as he did in the 90s.
Do you know what we forgot to do?
Huh.
We forgot to intro something new.
Oh yeah, we
forgot
did. We'll make Eric add it in.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, I'm not gonna shout at it. I don't want to scare Denae here. So I'm like,
That's
right.
true.
all right.
So what did you got, my friend?
Call me if you want, call me if you need, call me if you want, and I'll be on the
Lil
way.
Nas X, huh?
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun. Dude, I actually really like this album a lot. I
haven't
was
heard it.
actually really shocked. I liked it.
I haven't heard the full album, but he is proving a point, and he is making space for people in the industry. I fully support it. I'm
I
all for
said it when Old Town Road came out. I said it when he started popping up. Get your money, Little Nas X. I fuck with this dude so heavy as far as like just what he's doing and what he represents. Because it's like, all right, so
He's really good at trolling
people-
people back too. I like
Yes,
that.
yes.
no, he is the clapback king as far as that. That's another reason why I like him. But no, what he's doing, man, he is proving a point. Like it's like, all right, women have been sexualized in this thing, like the girl on girl thing has been done for years. Like Britney and who was it, Madonna kissing at the fucking VMAs. Like this shit's been happening for years. So what he's doing is like, and the guys like I know Little Bootsy's having a fucking heart attack somewhere right now.
Bootsy's so annoying.
but no, I actually, I love Little Nas X, man. Shout out to him. Like, for
He
this.
just gave
But
a
I do
really good
like this
interview on
album.
Hot 97 too. You should go check it out if you haven't seen it. He was talking about the BET performance, and he's like, I definitely wanted to make that, expression and show people what I was doing, but I was scared shitless to do that performance. He was like, I was terrified just because of the stigma with the gay community in hip hop, and you know what I mean. He's like,
That's
I was
another
fucking
thing too,
terrified
because it's like not only I mean, you know, gay artists and stuff like that. That representation that's been happening in Hollywood for a while, but like in hip hop, that's really still taboo.
And
Totally.
even
Right.
like live on stage or in videos, like you've seen it here and there, but to make such a drastic point as he is, like that has to take guts, and like I respect that so much.
And I think people may still feel away, but at least like the actions are coming through with hip hop. Like you don't hear people saying fag as much. You don't hear people saying bitch as much. Like you still hear it.
I hear bitch
You
quite
still,
a bit.
you still hear it. No, you definitely still hear it, but it's definitely way toned down. Like even in the verses,
or it's in different contexts.
Yeah, totally. And even in the versus battle that just happened, like you know, Fat Joe got caught up in talking shit, and he was like. He's like, all your girls on your songs are dusty bitches or whatever like that, and he had to come out with an apology for it the next day. Like it doesn't slide as much anymore.
No.
So,
No, different times. As far as what we want to play on the Little Nasir X's
I want to
album,
hear this fucking song with Doja Cat because I love Doja Cat.
But
I'm gonna let you pick. I'm just saying. I'm just saying for later.
Let's go with.
He's got Elton John on this.
Yeah,
motherfucker?
yeah. Actually, let's play the Elton John track.
Okay. Shout out Elton John.
I mean, it's a perfect. Oh, did you see the photo of him and Elton John?
No.
Elton John was wearing like the pink like suit he was wearing,
really?
and Little Nas X was wearing like his like it's like Elton John's like floral like thing he had on like a couple years ago at the VMAs or some shit. So they like traded outfits.
Oh,
It was
that's so
kinda
cool.
dope.
I just saw that little video clip of Elton John talking to James Hetfield of Metallica. They're like on a live like Zoom thing because like I guess Elton covered one of their songs for the 30th anniversary of the Black Album. And he tells James Hetfield, "Nothing Else Matters" is like one of the best songs ever written. And James Hetfield just starts fucking crying. And I'm like, I love this,
It
dude.
is.
I love it.
I love that. No, early Metallica is just so like one is probably one of my favorite
Totally,
songs. Like especially when I figured out what because it was about a soldier who got all his limbs blown off and went blind and shit like that. Like no, early Metallica.
And Nothing Else Matters was super personal to James Hetfield too, with his struggles with his own demons and shit. So it was pretty cool to watch.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Anyways, without further ado, here is "One of Me" off of Lil Nas X's brand new debut album Montero, featuring Elton John. Oh no, it's not.
Nope, that sounds like Davies.
That sounds like Davies. Here it is.
Same with like Olivia Rodrigo. It's this new generation of artists that are just experimenting, and I have always felt really lost with my music because I like everything and I want to do everything. So having artists like this to be able to do that first and like make that lane for people, I think is really, really special.
Olivia Rodrigo is a monster, by the way. I really like that "Good for You" song. Was it "Sour"? Was the album? Was that it?
I'm not sure of the album, but I like that song. Yeah.
Those type of artists lead the pack for me, and as far as what I'm listening to, like her's probably my favorite female artist, and she does that shit. Like
Guess
she'll
who's
play
coming?
funk, she'll play R&B.
Guess
I
who's
know,
coming to
I-
LCA?
Is
Guess
it-
who's
wait, is it
she's
LCA?
at LCA.
I thought she was at the Fox.
I saw LCA.
Damn, I kind of wish it was at the Fox.
Me too. I don't want her in a stadium.
I don't
video.
either.
I don't want it. But it just.
She is getting big though. But yeah, like
Yeah.
her's my favorite female artist out, and Anderson
Yep.
.Paak is my favorite male artist out. And it's like because those guys do a bunch of different shit. They don't just stick to the same thing.
Same
all
with
the time.
Billy.
Yeah.
Billy's like
Yep.
changing it up too,
Yep.
and it's really cool.
I love it.
I
yeah,
love
it's
that
really
Billy,
cool.
and still I love that Billie Eilish had Denzel Curry open for her on the last tour.
That's
I'm
pretty
that
sweet,
is
yeah.
such a great. Like,
Didn't she have Run the Jewels open at some
Nah,
point?
that was
too?
Lord.
Oh, that was Lord. That
Which
was
is
Lord.
awesome still.
It's
Which
like
is
what?
still-
It's crazy. Could you imagine though if you were like going there to see Lord and he didn't know who Run the Jewels is?
Back at it like a crack at it, Mr. Black Magic.
God, this is militant.
All right, something new. What we got?
Okay. Hot Honey by Ari, A-R-I, Chi, I think, C-H-I.
How is that? A-R-I.
Yep,
Coming with-
space C-H-I.
Coming with the people we actually had to look up.
Very shy.
Yeah.
Oh, this is-
So I texted you the song. I don't know if you listened to it, but I found the song, and I had an hour drive that day, and I swear to God, I listened to it on repeat the whole way there and the whole way home, the whole hour. I
don't
love it that
remember.
much.
I don't know if I don't know if I listened to it or not. Let's. What is the song?
Hot Honey.
Hot Honey. Is it on the Colorful album? Let's see.
Oops. This is the green one. That's what the cover art looks like. It's like a hand with.
Okay. Oh, I see it right here. Hot honey. All right, I'm excited. You brought us 2 artists that I haven't heard of.
Say,
Shout out to Denae. You killed
killing
it. Put more. I'm listening to more of her music. I just added the song straight to my Vortex.
Yeah.
playlist.
How do you spell it again?
Ari Chi, like Chi-Town, like ARI and CHI.
Yeah, it's my favorite song to sing right now. I've been singing it like every day.
I have like a whole playlist of music that is like my psychedelic tracks that went straight on
Yeah,
there.
there you go.
Yes.
Yeah, I really like that. That's awesome. Those were some good ones. I'd actually, you know what's funny? I'm kind of glad we only did something new because I didn't listen to any of the music that came out this weekend.
I listened to Mozzie. That was the other one I listened to. And then we tried to, Lindsay and I listened to Injury Reserve, like when we start getting in the car. Injury Reserve, if you're not familiar, they actually lost a member of their group to suicide.
Oh, damn, I didn't know
Yeah, but I would put them in like a Flatbush Zombies, kind of like a Denzel Curry like bag, like they kind of like that kind of sound. But
Cool.
they're good.
Actually, I lied. I did listen to some new music. I listened to the Jordan Reiki album, What We Call Life. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I don't know, but I really love his music. And I do want to get to this Kyle Dion album, too. I forgot that he dropped. So that's cool.
And the Colors and Shapes, Mac Miller is coming out.
Yeah, actually,
too.
I'm going to play a little bit of that because I don't even remember that. That's like the one Lucy I had of the week. Like Mac Miller. So if you haven't heard the news, I follow his mother on Instagram because his mom kind of handles all of his music dealings now that he's passed. But there's a great mixtape by Mac Miller, which has got an awesome song with him and Vince Staples on it. But the album is Faces. Is that the name of it?
Yep,
Yeah, Faces.
Yeah.
And so they're re-releasing it. They're remastered it, and they're re-releasing it on streaming because it hasn't been on streaming up to this point. And this is the lead single, which they just put a video out for too. I feel you, bro. I think I might have to listen to Circles on the way.
I'm
home.
going to go back to. I'm gonna go back to Faces probably on the way home.
The whole thing's not out yet on streaming.
No, I mean like the mixtape.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Dude, I used to
The
have
whole
like,
mixtape's on YouTube.
I used to have an app that had like all the mixtapes on it, but I got to re-download
Dat
it.
Piff.
It was called like Certified Mixtapes or something like that. I can't remember, but anyways, since we're now approaching the 2-hour mark, I think
Has it
it's
been
about
2
time.
hours?
Yeah, man, we're
Damn.
flying.
Yep.
We got a special performance.
We
Yes.
do. We're gonna have Denae performing one of her new songs
Yes.
with us. But before you do that, do you want to plug any like social media or anything like that?
Did you want to play the other song too?
Yeah, if we have time.
Okay.
I emailed it to you.
You emailed it to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me
So
pull it up.
social media is music by Denae, Denae, on everything, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Yeah, I don't have Twitter, but everything else, Spotify is just, or I guess all streaming platforms, just Denae, so Denae.
All right, let me look up the mail here. What is the new song, by the way? What is it called that we're about to listen to?
So what we're about to listen to right now is called Sleep Junkie. So this is actually a song that I had done, and I always had this vision for it that I personally didn't have the skills to meet at the time that I recorded it. So I redid it, and I wanted it to be very cinematic. I wanted it to be in movies and shows, and I met with some people in the Motown accelerator program who hopefully can help me make that happen. So that's really cool.
I feel like I would, if I made music, I would 1,000% be making music for shows and movies.
Yes.
Because like I think about that all the time when I'm
Yes.
watching movies. Like, oh, I could write a song for this scene right
Like
Yeah.
actually like scoring movies.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily something that I consider my style, but I wanted something that could be on like Euphoria or, a show like that. I'm really like, that's the vibe I was going for.
Tom York from Radiohead totally does that. Like you hear his shit in all kinds of stuff. All right, how do I open this file here?
The Google Drive.
And then while you're doing that, I'll talk about the song I'm performing.
Dope.
So that song is called Tuesday. It comes out on October 1st. And
Is it
I'm-
a Tuesday?
No, I wanted it to be a Tuesday, but everyone told me Fridays, so I had to, compromise there. But it's that song's really special to me because I wrote it before I decided to move to Detroit, and finishing the song was actually it made the decision for me. It's about daydreaming, about getting uncomfortable and realizing that you are too comfortable and you're stagnant in that comfort. And so I wrote the song about Detroit. And I decided, if I release a song, I have to move. I can't release a song and not move. I have to follow through. And now I live here.
Oh, fuck with it.
There we go.
Yeah.
Let's see, it's pulling up right now and loading. There we go. Let's see. Will you start playing? Oh, here it is.
Hey.
This is it, right?
This is what the music video you helped with too.
Oh, nice.